So, Maria, what are these developments here? We, of course, had that phone call over the weekend. Has anything else happened? Have we had any more words exchanged?
Yes, Danny, and the calls, of course, continue. That by itself, in some ways, it's a new development. Remember, the diplomatic channels between the West and Russia have been almost completely cut off since the war started. Now you have this flurry of calls about this potential dirty bomb that concerns the West. Yesterday, you had that very clear warning from the NATO Secretary General, who says the alliance rejects the claims made by Russia that Ukraine is preparing one. Remember, Danny, the idea is that these are explosives that are tied up, wrapped up in radioactive material, and also say Russia should not use this as a pretext to employ potentially tactical nuclear weapons on Ukraine. But overall, Danny, there is a feeling today of escalation, that we're entering potentially dangerous waters, and every military expert that I've spoken to does tell me if anything of the sort does happen in Ukraine, then you're entering now an uncharted territory, but also a very serious escalation in the war that would now become a very different war.
And Maria, at the same time, we have Scholz, German Chancellor, hosting a fundraiser for Ukraine in Berlin. How much of an issue is money becoming in this war?
Yes, and Danny, this is happening today. It's a fundraiser by the German Chancellor. It is happening in Berlin. A lot of this is the idea of rebuilding and reconstructing Ukraine. And Danny, you know very well the amount of money, just the figures that float around are enormous, from $500 billion to 700. Some have suggested ultimately this will hit a $1 trillion mark. This is almost a Marshall Plan for Ukraine. But there's two aspects here. This is the long-term reconstruction, but then there's also the short-term funding, and we now know that Ukraine says they need about $40 billion next year to keep their economy afloat, to maintain the war effort. The country is burning through cash every month, and this is going to get a real debate, or will become a real debate at one point. Who is going to pay for this, and how? The Ukrainians want visibility. We have a living cost crisis in Europe, and I hear a number of countries that suggest perhaps this is now time to explore what to do with the Russian frozen reserves.